This is my body at 15 years old. And this is what I look like now. But how did we get here? Growing up, I was a happy, healthy, and confident kid. I'd often be playing sport with my brother and all my other friends in our apartment complex. I felt fit and healthy. My diet used to consist of whatever my grandma would make, which was generally healthy and honestly banging food. And since I was playing sport every day, my sleep was amazing. I used to sleep like a baby. And life was genuinely perfect, not a worry in the world. Living in India, it was great. But that would all change very suddenly when we decided to move to the land down under.
When we had landed in Australia, I thought we had landed on another planet. Everything was so beautiful. I mean, this was completely different to what I was used to back in Mumbai. I mean, look at the difference. It was like two different planets. But what's coming up soon is not what I expected.
Everything seemed so different, but it seemed nice. But that was until my first day at primary school. I was quite excited to make new friends and experience a Western school, but I was highly mistaken. As I tried talking to some of the kids in my class, most of them were just mean, and no one wanted to be my friend, because no one wants to talk to the weird Indian kid. All of my excitement from being in a new country quickly came crashing down after my first day at primary school. This continued for a long time. No one wanted to talk to me, and kids made fun of me because I was Indian. So when you're lacking social connection and no one wants to be your friend because you're the weird Indian kid, you try and find comfort in something else. And for me, that was food. Junk food, to be specific, and lots of it. This lack of social connection caused me to binge eat thousands and thousands of calories over my daily maintenance. Every opportunity I got to eat food, I would literally stuff my face until I felt sick, to the point where if I was having a few more bites, I was throwing it all up. All of this consumption of unhealthy foods kept adding up over the years. At 15 years old, I was probably 30% body fat and definitely overweight. I didn't like the way I looked. Now, this really affected my self-image and my confidence. I remember I would literally not like wearing thin shirts because you could see my nipples. Fast forward a couple of years and a few schools changed here and there, and now we're in Melbourne. But the same story followed itself everywhere I went. Struggle making friends, which made the cycle even worse. Now, another year goes by, and now I'm 16, meaning I can legally get a job now. So I looked around the place near my area, and I went and I got a job at this fast food place. They sold burgers, fries, milkshakes, ice cream, you name it, they had it. This only caused me to gain more weight as I worked there, because I was consuming these foods at least twice a week, every single week. The weight kept piling on. At this point, I was unhappy. I basically hated myself. But I didn't care enough to change. Until this one day.
I remember, I walked into work and I saw this girl working at the front counter. Let's call her Layla. When I saw her, something in my brain instantly turned on. She was probably the most beautiful girl I'd seen at this time. I remember I was so nervous I wouldn't even speak to her. I'd be looking at her from the side of my eye because I didn't want to be staring at her and come off as creepy. And after like 45 minutes into that shift, she finally asked me a question. And as we get talking a little bit more, by the second question, I genuinely start shaking. I'm not joking. This is dead ass. You're probably thinking, what the f is wrong with you? Well, that's what I was thinking after my shift. But let me tell you what was wrong with me. The reason I was shaking in that moment was because, well, the first reason was my mother sort of had this influence on me, which was she used to say, you shouldn't talk to girls because girls are a distraction. And she's completely right. They are. But this influence sort of had a worse outcome. As in, it kind of made me awkward with girls. Not only that, the other reason that I was shaken is the fact that younger me had no confidence. And you're probably thinking, why would that be the case? Well, what do I have to be confident about? I'm a 16-year-old high school student who was fat and didn't have too many friends. And my self-image, aka how I viewed myself, was so bad that I was doing shit like that, shaking while talking to a normal human being. Now after my shift with this girl, I was kind of obsessed with her. So I went home and I tried finding her Instagram instead of just asking her, because, you know, your boy at that point didn't have the confidence to. Anyway, we started messaging every day, and I'd obsessed over this girl. She was on my mind 24/7. I'd literally be in class, daydreaming about her. I started texting her, and we sort of became friends. But obviously, I wanted to be more than friends. So I did what everyone told me to do. Tell her you like her, and buy her something nice. The blue-pilled advice of just be nice and you'll get girls. So that's exactly what I did. I was really nice to her, and I bought her things. I remember I bought her this necklace once. It was like this gold moon necklace. It was gold plated. And at that point, that was my entire paycheck for an entire shift. Can you believe it? I spent my entire shift money on this girl that wasn't even my girlfriend at that point. And after buying her necklace, guess what I did? I asked her out. And guess what? She actually said no. She said no. She said she doesn't like me like that, and she'd much rather be friends. I got friend zoned, basically. I was wondering why I couldn't get this girl. I did everything that everyone told me to do. Be nice and buy her things. And it didn't work. So I thought, you know what? I'm just gonna try again. But this time it actually, no. She said no again. And I was still obsessed with this girl, even though she rejected me countless of times. But one day, I was scrolling on YouTube when I found this video from this guy named Hamza. I was intrigued by the title. And why would that be the case? Because it had something to do with girls. And younger me had no hers. The title was something along the lines of how to make her obsessed with you. And as I watched one of these videos, I felt as if I'd found a needle in a haystack. I felt what Hamza was saying made so much sense, but it was so against the normal advice that I'd received about getting girls. Instead of being nice and buying her things, he said, if she doesn't like you and she friend zones you, he said, disappear and focus on building yourself. Build your body, study, develop a skill, start a business, and girls will come. Hamza's stories and his way of explaining things was so inspiring that this left a great impact on me. I wanted to go to the gym, but I was too scared to go by myself. But luckily, a little someone was there for me. One day, I come back from school and someone asked me, do you want to go to the gym with me? Now you're probably wondering, who is this? It was my older brother. He had just started going to the gym and he offered to take me. And as he asked me, do you want to go to the gym? I remembered Hamza's advice and said yes. So that's exactly what I did. When we went to the gym, I tried doing some of the exercises, but my form was horrendous. Even with light weights, I struggled. But after that session ended, I felt something that I never really felt before. I felt good about myself. I was like, even though there was so much resistance in those exercises, it was heavy and hard. But in the end, it was beautiful. The feeling that I got after training was unbeatable. This made me fall in love with the gym. I would basically go every time my brother went, because I didn't have a membership at this point. But soon enough, I signed up to the gym, and I was going every day, and I was training extremely hard. I was loving it. I was finally losing fat and building muscle. I was looking better, and I still remember one of the first weeks that I got consistent in the gym. I'm not gonna lie to you, it was genuinely one of the best weeks of my life. Because it felt like I was building something that was actually gonna help my future. It was so different to the feeling that I got after consuming mountains of junk food. This was my new self, and I was loving it. Now, you guys remember the girl from before, Layla. Now it's the other way around. She's messaging me, asking me, where did you go? I never hear from you anymore. We never hang out. I was training for the wrong reasons. I was training to get girls. In terms of the gym, even though I was training like an animal, my gains didn't really improve after this period. And I didn't understand what I was doing wrong in the gym. Over the years, I've tried all different types of workout routines, but none of them really worked for me. I've stayed the same size for years. I wanted to gain more muscle and be leaner, but nothing was working. All of this left me confused. Why I looked this way. I thought it was my genetics. Maybe my genetics aren't good enough. But then I came to a realization. I started losing weight for the wrong reasons. But this chapter is different. I want to be fit not so I can be a degenerate with girls, but so I respect myself. So I can look myself in the mirror and be like, yeah, that's me, and I'm proud to be me. I was reading the Bible yesterday, and this quote really stuck with me. It was, better off the poor, healthy, and fit than rich and afflicted in body. Health and fitness are better than any gold, and a robust body than countless riches. There is no wealth better than health of body. This verse made me realize I must be in exceptional shape because it's worth more than money, the thing that most people would give their lives for these days.